How is it going, ladies and gentlemen? This is RQ from RQ's Garage. No intro, just jumping right into it. So, this week, my car was acting up. I lost power, it was stuttering, it was shaking, and things were acting up real bad. To be honest, I was really scared when I was driving my car. It felt like it was coughing when you were trying to press the gas pedal. There wasn't enough power, the check engine light kept blinking, and I was worried. So I had my code reader, I checked the codes, and nonetheless, I had a misfire. One of my spark plugs was bad, which was weird to me because I replaced my spark plugs and my coils probably about 2 years ago. So they're not that bad, but with that misfire, it made so much sense why my car was driving so weird. So I had another video in mind, and I'll save that for a different time because I had to attend to this misfire. So you'll see right here, I took off all the plastics in my engine bay, and I am attending to cylinder 1 of the misfire. The code I got was a P0301, which said it was a cylinder 1 misfire. You can see there's not a lot of room when I'm trying to take out the spark plug there. My arm is very squished from that support brace. Kind of struggling here, but you can see I'm twisting off that spark plug, about to take it out. So it's hard to work with that little room. But if you ever have a problem with your car, again, you just get it checked out by an AutoZone and O'Reilly's. They'll do them for free for you. They'll check it out. But here I see the spark plug and it looks kind of bad. If you can see the little spark section is gone, completely gone. That rust isn't that bad, that discoloration, but you see that little tip on the left new one that's not there on the old right one. And so that gap right there was definitely probably causing that misfire. Just giving you a comparison, showing you the big difference between new and old. And man, it did not look good. You can clearly see the carbon built up on the old spark plug. It looks bad, probably some burnt fuel, definitely needed to be replaced. And that's where the cylinder 1 misfire was coming from, because that spark plug was so bad. So they have a specific socket to put the new spark plugs in. It has a little rubber housing on the inside to hold the spark plug. So just putting it in there, making sure it's nice and snug. It's a 5/8 size socket. It's a pretty standard. You can find these everywhere. Maybe using a normal 5/8 can work too. But having that spark plug held in the socket while you're pushing it down into the cylinder, it's nice to have because it won't move and you know it's not going to fall in there. So again, you can see the back half. There's not a lot of room to play with. If your engine is mounted transversely like mine, it's hard to fix those spark plugs on the rear side. So you got to be really strategic with it. I have two 3-inch long extensions. I put the spark plug in with one of the extensions, then I put the other one in just to make sure I don't lose a spark plug and I have it in my hands at all times. So you just got to play with it. You got to finagle it. There's not a lot of room to play in the back of the engine. You can see I'm kind of struggling. I'm really focusing on the feel. So make sure you just don't drop anything. You don't want to drop a spark plug. You don't want to drop an extension, a socket in the back of the engine, because that's just really annoying. So slowly tightening it, hand tightening it right there. You know your boy taking care of you with this live action feed over here. And just making sure everything's nice and tight. Eventually I'll get a socket in there and tighten it down. See, boom, I'm speaking before I'm even doing. So got the socket. Make sure the socket is in the tightening, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, because if you're doing it wrong when you're inside there, it's really frustrating. So always make sure you have that adjustment on prior to working at it. And then now we're just tightening up that socket in there because we want to tighten the spark plug. Spark plugs, they don't need to be torqued down. Just once they're nice and snug, give it a nice quarter turn, you're done. Make sure it's nice and in there tight. The threads are all sealed together. You don't need a specific torque spec. Doesn't even need to be super tight. Just make sure it's on there nice and snug. And that's it. So now it's just the whole process of getting everything out and trying to make sure I don't drop anything. Got the wrench out. Now I'm trying to get the extensions with the socket. After the spark plug is on there nice and tight, we're going to put on the ignition coil. The ignition coil, once again, very straightforward. You're just going to put it on top of the spark plug. It fits in properly, of course. It fits in nice and tight. But with the limited space that I have and with using the angles because the coil is kind of long, just going to work at it, Make sure you put the coil inside the same cylinder hole that you put the spark plug in. This is all pretty straightforward. Just got to be nice and tight on there. It has its own small screw, that little bolt, that's going to be attached to a threaded rod in the back there. And of course, you don't want to drop that small bolt in the back of the engine. That would cause a lot of problems and a lot of frustration. So just be nice, take your time, making sure it's nice and tight. It's going to use a 10mm socket, and it's going to be really simple. Boom, 10mm. Make sure that that bolt is nice and snug, because you want to make sure the ignition coil has a proper seal onto the spark plug. You don't want any more misfires because we didn't tighten things down properly. So again, with the limited space we have, we're going to tighten it up, call it a day. So we just put the new spark plug in. Literally my hood's still up. I'm just gonna give her a go and I'm gonna see what happens. Low fuel. Still have that check engine light. I believe that check engine light is from a transmission module, which I already have right here. This is gonna be a different video. A lot of Honda and Acura people know about this problem, the P1717, but that's for a different time. But no, it sounds great. Well, I checked the code reader and it still says it has a misfire, but I mean, it ran so much better than before. There wasn't really any problems. I just drove it. I floored it for a little bit, put it in reverse, put it into drive. All that stuttering and all that like hesitation of power all disappeared. It's running back to normal. But yeah, it was just that cylinder 1 misfire, which is really weird because I replaced all the spark plugs and the coils, I don't know, maybe a year, 2 years ago. So it wasn't that old. But nonetheless, if you have a problem like that, just always use a code reader, go to an AutoZone, check it out, and just fix it right away. I mean, this took me a mere 30 minutes, and it was kind of a pain. You could see I kind of struggled back there. There's not a lot of clearance here, but it all turned out fine. If you don't know what cylinder orientation your car is, always look it up online on Google. I looked mine up real quick, and it's really easy. But for the 3.2 liters for the Hondas or the Acuras, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, just so easy and so straight. I just took out, this is the cover. I'll clean it up. I'll put everything back over here. This is kind of how it looks like, of course. Everything is all covered up here. It is the next day here in Ohio, nice and rainy. I'm going to put my code reader in to make sure that those codes have disappeared. So pending codes. No pending codes are stored in the module. Boom! The cylinder 1 misfire has officially disappeared. Thank the Lord. And again, I had another video in mind, but when something's urgent happen like this, I was having a misfire. My car was shaking and acting up so bad I couldn't drive it. I was too scared to drive it. I had to attend to the situation. I had to figure it out. Again, not a big deal. Super easy, super simple video. If I taught you something today, just hit me up in the comments below and let me know what you learned. If you liked this video and you thought it was helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. I really thank all your support and love, guys, and we'll see you soon.